The sequel to 1991's The Adventure of Star Saver was a title I held quite a high anticipation for. The original RUBBLE Saver game was a blast, a varied, intriguing platformer that had this really interesting grapple hook mechanic that rescued you should you fall down a pit or something. It was tough, with the ghosts and goblins 2 strikes and you're out style of gameplay, but compelling with delightful music, ambitious level layouts and artistry, and damn tricky boss fights. Sadly, all of that was kinda lost with the follow-up. It seems like our hero has made some improvements to his mech suit. Your lifespan of sorts has now been upgraded. You can take 2 hits rather than just the 1. Starting in your 2-legged mech suit, getting hit for the first time knocks the top half off. A second hit by a projectile or contact with an enemy knocks the bottom half off, leaving you an unarmored man. If you die, you're forced back quite a way. Even dying on the boss fights takes you back halfway through the level rather than just to the start of the boss fight. The grapple hook has been somewhat improved as well. It's no longer used to rescue you should you fall, as you're now equipped with a limited supply of jetpack fuel. While you can't fly around the levels with it, it'll activate should you plummet and gives you something like 5 seconds of flight, enabling you to get back on solid ground. No, now your hook looks more like a plunger that you can at any time fire vertically above you to connect to platforms. This forms the biggest part of your platforming, as certain jumps are not actually achievable. You'll have to launch yourself as best you can, then fire the plunger up at just the right time to cling onto a platform. Like Bionic Commando, you can flip up onto some thinner levels, but unlike the title that made the grappling hook mechanic its own, you have next to no maneuverability here when on the rope. You can't swing left to right or extend it up and down, which sucks. You're just stationary. Pressing up will take you on top of the platform if you're able. Down will simply drop you. You can sort of squirm your way along by quickly detaching and re-firing the rope at the same time as nudging the D-pad along. It's far from graceful and about as unnatural a movement as you could imagine. The whole rope mechanic was not thought out properly at all. The level variation is a letdown too. There are 7 levels to choose from. You can pick from the first 3, but then when those are all beaten, the final 4 levels have to be beaten in order. Whereas the worlds you traversed previously had a real widespread design and told a nice story, here the levels are unremarkable from each other with barely a background, the same handful of enemies and layouts that always seem to repeat. So often does the game give you the feeling you've been here before, with the second half of some stages being virtually identical to the first. Remember as well how The Adventure of Star Saver wasn't just your traditional left-to-right affair, but went up and down and back on itself. Yeah, this one doesn't. Apart from level 3, which is actually a series of small rooms, the only real change from the Formula all game, you can't go backwards once the screen scrolls. Sure, Super Mario Land and Mickey's Dangerous Chase did this as well, but they were great platformers with a pace that encouraged the player to progress. This one isn't. Your weaponry is improved a little. The normal fire is here, but can now be augmented with a 45-degree upward shot that's very useful for hitting things on platforms above you. It's also great for some bosses. There's also a kind of laser shot that doesn't dissipate when it hits something and can also travel through walls. Let's talk about the enemies for a second. They pretty much all die with 1 hit, which is kind of lame. If you edge along slowly enough, you'll never be posed a problem by them. The bosses, while looking pretty great, don't really improve things either, as their patterns are kind of mindless and only mildly interesting. Nothing in this game will take long to puzzle out. Just take a listen to it as well. The music really doesn't fit at all. It's too dreary. A 20-second loop that feels like it should accompany some third-rate Tetris knockoff, and it doesn't change much. The boss fights sound so discordant, so grating, and the sound effects themselves seem as though they were mixed up. The jump and fire noises sound like a coin-collecting jingle rather than a bounce or shot. It's quite odd, and marks yet another example of where this game fails in comparison to its older brother. Comparing Max to its predecessor leaves a slightly sour feeling. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh by doing that, but with games in a series, it's kind of necessary. Castlevania Legends doesn't seem that bad until you compare it to Belmont's Revenge, so I think it's an important distinction. Coming from what was a nicely varied game with aspiring graphics, a really fitting soundtrack and quite clever level design, what we're left with is a lackluster, rushed sequel with all semblances of creativity sucked out of it. What's strange is, unless you were Japanese, you wouldn't even know it was a sequel until you played it. Maybe not even then.